As our physical body upgrades to higher and higher frequencies, there are two things that we can do to help to assist this process to feel more at ease and more graceful as a transition, as our body is releasing the density and allowing that higher vibrational frequency to land and to anchor in. My name is Carolyn Yakopich. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So what tends to happen when we start to vibrate into higher frequencies, when the solar codes, the light codes, the frequencies that are downloading through us and within us, what happens to our body? Well, because we have been spending most of our life in lower vibrational frequencies, meaning addicted to old programs and patterns, limiting behaviors and emotions. And now we're at a time in the world where all of this is starting to dissolve. All of it is starting to surface. And it's like this upheaval of energy that is releasing from our system. Simultaneously, as this energy is releasing from our system, we are receiving higher frequencies of light, which are our original blueprint. So it is something that we know we are. It is something that is familiar. However, because we've chosen to come into a physical body at this time, we chose to come here and forget what it feels like to hold these frequencies, forget what it feels like to be a divine cosmic being. And through this forgetfulness, through this unremembering, right, we have found ways to cope. We've found ways to hold ourselves into what is familiar. And because the whole world has been programmed in this false matrix illusion, it is easier to default to these old behaviors and these old emotions that no longer serve our full infinite potential of who we truly are. So what can we do when this higher frequency of light, higher frequency light codes, the energy, the solar codes, when our system is being cleared and cleaned out so that we can hold this higher frequency? The body starts to feel a little overwhelmed. There could be anxiety that comes up because these frequencies of light travel so fast and our body is not in this time, not in the past time, in previous lifetimes, but in this time, we have not been used to it. So it feels very foreign to us. So there can be a tendency of feeling exhausted. There can be a tendency of feeling anxious and a little bit scattered from the energy. And there are a couple of ways that we can move this energy through us and anchor it in and really start to master how we work with this energy so that this energy becomes a part of our innate nature and we can keep this frequency moving through us and allowing it to settle in as part of our blueprint. So the first thing that we can do is, of course, if we are exhausted, take rest. Now, take rest doesn't necessarily mean sleep. It could mean to simply lay down. It could be to be out in nature and lay out in the grass to recalibrate. It could also mean go out and have some fun. So spending time with those that light you up, where you light each other up, is going to be very nourishing as well. So this time of rest where it doesn't feel like work is so important for these energies to fully land in our physicality. So that is the first one. Now it sounds very easy, very simple, yet most of us are wired to output. Most of us are wired to keep going, to push, to move beyond our limitations. And I know that there's been times in my life where I have a few tasks that I want to get done, and I might have about an hour left of work that I need to do. And I'm at the point where I'm feeling the energies. I'm feeling myself going through a transition. and my mind wants me to keep going. And I think to myself, if I could just get through this hour, I'll be done everything, and then I can take a break, and then I can take a break. However, by not taking that break when the body is needing this break, you move into a state of exhaustion, and further from that can move into a deeper state of overwhelm and anxiety and burnout. So we're not really addressing it in the moment. So in the moment when it's happening, taking that time to pause, to rest is so important. And I understand some people have jobs where you can't just stop. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to go take a break. I'm going to go out in nature, or I'm going to go and rest or lay down or read a book or whatever it is. I understand that. So when you're in a state of work, or you're in momentum of something where you need to be there, the invitation would be to step back and pause. So step back, take 5 minutes, take a 5-minute break. We can all have 5-minute breaks. It's not a huge thing to ask for, right? So taking that 5-minute break and really being present with yourself. Not thinking about the next thing that you have to do, not thinking about, okay, in 5 minutes I gotta be back, so let me just, let me just take a pause and still keep thinking about all the things, or keep thinking of the next thing, whatever it is. It really is an invitation to come back to center. Come back to the breath, always. It's our greatest tool of recalibration. It's our greatest tool to help our nervous system relax. So there are a few ways that you can work with your breath in a very short amount of time to get you into a more regulated state. Long, deep breathing, working into the belly where you expand, exhale, relax. Alternate nostril breathing. I have quite a few videos on different forms of breath work to help to calm the nervous system. So all of these can be done. Left nostril breathing on its own, also very helpful. And a very simple one though, without putting any kind of technique into it, is to inhale slowly, softly, gently through the nose and exhale through the mouth, and just let the breath on the exhalation be longer than the inhalation to further relax your system. So this is key, finding time to rest. So yes, you may be at work, you may be in a place where you can't stop. So it's time to really bring space into your life. It's like build it into your schedule to rest. And if that's the only way that it can happen, then that is what would be the requirement for you to really start to anchor these higher frequencies in. Because we can't allow something new to come in if we're in the old paradigm. And if we're always busy, there is no space for simply being. And in order to fully recalibrate and to fully open to those higher frequencies and allow them to fully be in our physicality, we require space. We require space from everything, space from all the tasks, space from all the thoughts, space from our emotions, to allow that newness to come through. So the second thing that is very important when we want to anchor these frequencies is to move the body. So sometimes we might feel like we're really exhausted. And a lot of these times, not all times, but a lot of these times, the exhaustion comes from repressed emotions. And those emotions are starting to surface. And because we don't want to feel them on a subconscious level and even unconscious level, we start to feel tired because we're pushing them down, we're moving them, we're like, no, not now, I don't have time. And then it's like the exhaustion just sets in because these emotions are dense, they're heavy, they're density in our body, and they're trying to surface and dislodge and dissolve, right? And that is what this higher frequency of light is doing. It's coming through us and it's starting to remove, not fully remove, because we have to be the active participant for it to clear out, but it's allowing all of these frequencies, all these dense emotions to dislodge and to move through the system. So when this is happening, movement can help to further release this energy. So going for a walk, moving your body by shaking or dancing or stretching and breathing, doing yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong. There are so many ways we can move the body. Playing with your children outside, kicking a ball around or playing basketball, anything that moves the physical body will start to create more space. Now, being mindful that if you are feeling that exhausted state and the idea of moving is something that feels in alignment for you, once you're moving, just be mindful if you're starting to feel exhausted from the excess of movement. So you may need something a little more gentle one day, and then you can do something a little more strenuous another day. So really being aware of what your body's signaling to you. And this is key because we are so conditioned to be unaware. We are so conditioned to be working on automatic and not tuned into our physical vessel. And once we start to gain more awareness and presence and really truly be with our physical body, we will start to hear the messages that it is sending us, the signals that it is giving us of what it is that we exactly need. And when we tune into that and when we start to answer that call from our body, we start to create a safety, a safe space within our being to trust and to continue this journey together, because our body holds so much power. Our body is this vessel of creation. Our body is our channel through which everything is born and birthed. So truly finding that space of reverence and honoring of our own physical body is so important as we upgrade our energy.